Let's go there now. They're just about ready to tip it off. Let us go there for the announcements of the starting lineups.
Phone conference. Now then, let's get Mike Runge's introduction of the starting lineups.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Special Events Center in the first round of the Men's Division I Western Regional NCAA Basketball Tournament. Today's second game features the Bengals of Idaho State University and the Runnin' Rebels of UNLV. Let's meet the starting lineups. For Idaho State at forward, a 6'5" senior from Pocatello, Idaho, number 30, Don Holston. For UNLV at forward, a 6'8" junior from Rayne, Louisiana, number 23, Gerald Patio. For the Bengals at forward, a 6'6" junior from Vallejo, California, number 32, George Davis. For the Runnin' Rebels as 6'8" junior forward from Detroit, Michigan, number 44, Jarvis Bassnight. For Idaho State at center, a 6'8" senior from Glendale, California, number 33, Toros Yetanekian. For UNLV at center, a 6'9" senior from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, number 35, Armin Gilliam. For Idaho State University at guard, a 6' junior from Seattle, Washington, number 12, Troy Miles. For UNLV at guard, a 6' senior from San Pedro, California, number 10, Mark Wade. For the Bengals at guard, a 6'3" sophomore from Portland, Oregon, number 21, Jim Rhodey. And for the Runnin' Rebels at guard, a 6'3" senior from Las Vegas, Nevada, number 13, Freddie Banks. Now please welcome the head coach for the Idaho State Bengals, Dr. Jim Botan. Now the head coach for the UNLV Runnin' Rebels, Mr. Jerry Tarkanian.
All right, let's meet the men who will officiate today's game. The referee is Peter Pavia. And Phil Bova and John Russell are the two umpires. UNLV and Numerals and the black trim. It'll be Jarvis Bassnight at 6'8", a junior out of Detroit, jumping against George Davis, a 6'6" junior, as you look at the opening matchups for UNLV and Idaho State. Going to do it again. Inconclusive on the opening tip. There is the fellow who is the second winningest coach by percentage in college basketball history, Jerry Tarkanian. Opening tip to the UNLV Rebels. This is Mark Wade. Bassnight. There's that man-to-man defense that Idaho State plays exclusively. Armin Gilliam with Yetanekian on him. Gilliam gets the first 2 points of the ballgame over Toros Yetanekian.
That's Gilliam's strength, and that's his range from that point or inside, and he should be able to get that shot frequently.
Jim Rhodey's pass knocked out of bounds. Turnover against Idaho State. It'll come back the other way. There's Jim Boytan, the 44-year-old head coach of Idaho State. Gets a 3-pointer. Not unusual to see that at all. And UNLV has jumped out in front 5-0.
Now, this is what we talked about at the start. Trying to control the tempo. Idaho State's got to get into their offense, take their time, but you see UNLV overplays a lot, pressures, and forces up this shot.
Rhodey misses, and Gilliam grabs the rebound. And the Rebels are off and running a minute into the ball game, leading by a score of 5-0. At the other end, it is Bassnight. It is 7-0. And the worst fears, I would imagine, Lynn Shackelford, of the Idaho State Rebels are coming true right now.
I think they almost need a timeout right now.
Don Holston for the Bengals. Leading scorer, the 6'5" senior, a full-blooded Yurok Indian. And the Bengals have cut the margin down 7-3.
That was a good move by Holston. You're going to foul outside. Good move by Holston down at the other end. He knew a 3-pointer would go a long way to get his team some confidence if he could make it.
And it is 7-3, UNLV leading Idaho State. The foul was called on Troy Miles, 6' junior out of Seattle, Washington. UNLV is Patio shooting and missing. Rebounded by Miles. The littlest guy on the floor. Let's see how they use Yatanecki in the big center. Well, not at all. A three-point effort. What is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. And it is 7-6 with 2 minutes having gone by. UNLV by 1.
You can't say they don't have courage. Come down and fire up those three-pointers. Stay right with them.
Freddie Banks got his first one, missed his second one. Armin Gilliam is fouled as he goes up for the shot by Yatanecki, I believe.
Yeah, one real important factor for Idaho State is the foul situation for Yatanecki. He is getting in foul trouble quite often as a player, and against UNLV, the way they crash the boards, as soon as they get an offensive rebound, I suspect he'll be making some fouls like he did right there.
Gilliam at the line. The foul is called on Don Holston, incidentally, rather than Yatanecki, so it is his first. I thought it was on the center. 2 shots for Gilliam, who is a 72% free throw shooter. Boy, has he been to the free throw line a lot this year. That is his 225th free throw opportunity of the year. It is a 2-point lead for the running Rebels. Now here's that full court pressure. Troy Miles, a 6-foot junior from Seattle, working against Patio on the trap now. And a foul on Gilliam. So the team fouls are now even at 1 apiece.
Gilliam this week was named second-team UPI All-American, and he really is a solid player. Really hasn't had a bad game all year.
Gilliam is not very foul-prone. In 34 games, has fouled out only twice. That's something the Rebels have done pretty well. They have avoided the fouls very, very well. Wide open from the slammeroo is George Davis. Junior from Vallejo found the lane wide open.
That is one thing that Jerry Tarkanian can't stand. There's liable to be some substitutions if that happens again.
We are tied at 8. Patio working on Don Holston. Traveling against Patio. And Idaho State now, Lynn, as you look at Jerry Tarkanian, has a chance to take the lead for the first time.
And the Tark's looking worried. Pretty soon he'll go to that towel that's wet and sitting underneath. Now, Idaho State cannot get caught up in this real fast tempo and pace. They can't get too excited. They got a chance to take the lead here. Take their time.
Holston working on Patio. Yatanekian, Brody. Rebounded by Gilliam. We're still tied. 3 minutes into the game.
That was not the shot that Coach Jim Botan wanted him to take.
Fearless Freddie Banks missing from inside. Rebounded by Jim Rody. And again, Idaho State with a chance to go out in front. Remember now, this is a team that won 15 and lost 15 during the regular season.
See, they're getting caught up in playing that fast-paced tempo.
Yatanekian tips it in.
It's working fine for now, but I think they've got to work the ball around more on offense.
That's the first time after being behind 7-0, Idaho State has outscored UNLV 10-1. Make it 10-3 as Gilliam makes the basket and is fouled.
Foul goes to Idaho State number 21, Jim Rody. First foul.
Good start. So far in the game, UNLV is dominating on the offensive boards as we suggested they might. The hammer, as they call it. Armin Gilliam gets that one and doesn't even bring it down, just puts it right back up again and makes it look easy. He is not as spectacular as some of the other running Rebel players. He's very efficient, though.
We're tied at 10. Not now. Gilliam gets his 6th point of the ball game. And it is 11-10. UNLV out in front. Miles straight ahead to Holston. Wide open. Misses badly and rebounded by Rody. And he may have traveled. He did. Jim Rody, who was the outstanding player in the recent Big Sky tournament after coming off the bench 13 games ago. And there's head coach Jim Boytan.
Got to be. Oh, I thought that was going to be an offensive foul.
Bengals, 32, George Davis. First foul on.
Most people agree it's the toughest call in basketball, the charge block, and as you look at it again, they were facing each other, but the defensive player was definitely on the move.
Jim Botan calling out instructions to his team right in front of their bench. This is Armin Gilliam. Wade. Patio. 11-10, UNLV by 1. Banks gets his second three-pointer, but Banks is limping. Banks may have hurt his ankle. Holston missing and Gilliam rebounding. Banks' second three-pointer puts UNLV up by 4, 14-10. Wade inside. He's fouled on the floor by Yetanekian. And Banks is limping badly, Lynn, as he goes back up the floor.
Yeah, I think they'll get him out of there quite quickly because, as we mentioned, UNLV's got the very long and strong bench. He apparently came down on the foot incorrectly when he shot that last three-pointer. It looks like it's something he'll be able to shake off, though.
Gary Graham comes in to replace him, 6'4" senior out of Baltimore, best defensive player on the team, one of the co-captains. That's Graham with the ball, out to Patio. The foul a moment ago was the fourth on UNLV, and it was called on Yetanekian. It's fourth on Idaho State, excuse me. 14-10. Out of bounds off of Gilliam, and it'll go back the other way. As you look at 57-year-old Jerry Tarkanian. Only one coach, Claire B., back in the 1940s, had a better winning percentage than now Jerry Tarkanian, who just moved ahead of both Adolph Rupp and John Wooden. This is Davis, Jim Rhodey. Intercepted by Bass Knight. 2-on-2. And Miles has picked up his first foul, and 5 against Idaho State. It's 14-10, UNLV in front. 14:54 remaining to play in the first half. And we're going to have a timeout of the court with our score, a 4-point advantage for UNLV, 14-10. We'll be back in just a moment.
My wild Irish rose, the sweetest flower that grows, and someday for my sake she may let me take the bloom from my wild Irish rose.
On St. Paddy's Day, celebrate with the only American beer that's also brewed and bottled in Ireland, Budweiser.
Hey, what's happening here? This guy checking me out? Or my Volkswagen? Guess he wants to see what this new Golf GT can do. All right, mystery man. Let me show you how I go from here to Mother's without missing a beat. Men, they never stick around.
7:24, my feet are hitting the floor. 7:30, time to tie my shoe. At 7:34, I'm out the door. Catch a 7:42. Next stop, McDonald's, breakfast by the hand. That tasty biscuit sandwich fits right into my plan. By the hand, by the hand. Hot and fresh, breakfast sandwich best. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. Breakfast by the hand.
Frank Fallon back with Lynn Shackelford at the Special Event Center on the campus of the University of Utah. First round West Regional action. We played 5 minutes and 6 seconds, and it's a 14-10 lead for UNLV as their cheerleaders are here. And let's look over at the bench now if we can see that ankle of Freddie Banks. Well, it looks like maybe he feels pretty good about it right now, Lynn.
Yeah, he is definitely staying out of the game. He looks like he's a little concerned about it, but I think Freddie's, with that quickness and everything, will be able to run it off. The question is, how sore will it be tomorrow? They came into this game basically healthy. Mark Wade, their little point guard, had missed their last game in the PCA tournament, but he ran at full speed yesterday and looks good today.
This is Wade throwing the ball in. An all-time NCAA record with 345 assists this year. And a single game record when he had 21 assists against Navy. Both of those are NCAA records. Three-pointer in a hurry by Graham. That is the third three-pointer of the ball game for UNLV. And they lead it now by 7 again, 17-10, and Graham commits the foul.
Yeah, Graham is a very aggressive defensive player, commits a lot of fouls. That one in the backcourt on the press. And Graham can shoot the three-pointer. Was not a great shooter when he first came to Las Vegas, and has worked hard and developed a good outside shot.
We've got Gordon Bean, number 34, in the lineup now for Idaho State. Bean is a 6'7" junior from Elk Ridge, Utah, who has come into the ball game to replace Don Holston, the leading scorer. This is Yadanekian. They call him a point center. Had 124 assists this year. Oh, threw it right to Gilliam, but we got a charge also on Troy Miles. His second foul, and number 6 on the Bengals.
He saw an opening. He knew he could get by Wade, but the UNLV defense collapsed. And Coach Jim Botan says that's not what we want to do. We got to stay in our offense and run it.
Here it is again.
He saw that opening, then the UNLV players came right in there and got good position.
At his team foul, number 7 against Idaho State.
He is taken out of the game. Frank, when I played at UCLA under John Wooden, if we had got caught in the air just as he did on that play, we would have been taken out of the game too. That was one thing that Wooden would not tolerate, being stuck in the air with the ball, not knowing where to throw it.
Patio missing the free throw. This is Gordon Bean, who is in the ball game now for Idaho State. Troy Miles off to Yadanekian. Good move by the 6'8" center, but his shot is short. It'll be out of bounds off of UNLV. Toros Yadanekian, the 6'8" center for Idaho State, was born in Beirut, Lebanon.
I like what Dr. Jim Botan is doing, running players in and out of the game here early. I think that's important. Get a couple players on the bench used to playing in an NCAA tournament game. And, of course, UNLV, they substitute frequently anyway.
Willard has come in the ball game along with Eldridge Hudson. Dave Willard, a 6'11" sophomore from San Diego, and Eldridge Hudson, a 6'6" senior from Carson, California. This is Davis. It is a 17-10 lead for UNLV, matching their biggest lead of the ball game. They jumped off to a 7-0 lead. It was tied at 10. In the next 7 points, there's that fine assist into Holston, but he can't get the shot to go. Tips it up once, won't go. Davis put it back up and got it. Some tremendous offensive rebounding in by the smaller Idaho State Bengals.
That it is. They had gone on a real cold stretch, so they needed to get some offensive rebounds, and they did.
Wade has it knocked out of his hands by Chatterton, who's in the ball game now. Mike Chatterton, number 15, little 5'10" freshman. As you look at Mark Wade, he's the young man we mentioned a moment ago that set the 2 NCAA assist records on the year. And here comes fearless Freddie Banks back in the ball game for the Rebels. Wade goes out, Banks comes back in, so the ankle must be all right. 17-12. We are 6.5 minutes into the ball game. Willard, Freddie Banks already has 2 3-pointers today. Harmon Gilliam, guarded by Yadanekian. Eldridge Hudson inside on Gordon Dean. Gilliam lost it, taken away from him by Yadanekian.
That is something that is very rare to see happen to Gilliam, and it's a credit to the defensive player right there, Yadanekian. Great play.
A basket here would cut it down to a 3-point lead.
Now this is what we were talking about, how the offense they changed to. Look how spread out they are, and that opens things up on a man-to-man defense.
They got the pass inside to George Davis, but Davis simply could not hold it. He was under the basket as Jim Botan looks on.
Yeah, Jim Botan felt that was one of the keys for them to win the Big Sky postseason tournament, was the ability to go backdoor, just as they tried to do there, and their success at it.
Three-pointer by Banks, his third of the ball game. Freddie Banks has 9 points and 129 three-pointers on the year. And UNLV is up by 8, their biggest lead, 20-12. Yadanekian to Don Holston, who has 1 3-pointer. This is Gordon Bean.
I like the way Idaho State's playing offensively now. They've spread it out. They're playing their game. I don't like that shot, though.
Yadanekian taking a 3-point effort. And a whistle and a foul on Gordon Dean, I believe.
I don't think they can expect to match UNLV with 3-point shots.
So Gordon Bean picks up the foul. You saw the 2 coaches.
Yadanekian on this miss, by the way, was 2 for 3 before that shot, so he's not used to taking that shot. And then you see him trying to slow down the UNLV fast break after the rebound, and that's where the foul occurred.
Here is Eldridge Hudson at the line.
May be the worst free throw shooter in the NCAA tournament, 28% on the year.
Got it back, and Banks goes for three, doesn't get it. And Graham gets it right back, and Willard is open. But did he travel? No, he got the basketball.
Oh, he's going to count it.
Counted, and he was fouled. The basket by the 6'11" sophomore from San Diego, David Willard.
Here's your sequence. UNLV gets the offensive rebound on the missed three-pointer, and they find him under there. And as you look at it again, definitely in the NBA, that's continuation. And maybe this is borderline. Maybe you could call it a good basket. But was in the act of shooting when he was fouled? I don't think so.
Willard gets a three-point play out of it, however, and suddenly UNLV is up by 23-12 with 11:43 remaining in the first half. The Rebels have 4 3-pointers already. 3 by Banks, 1 by Graham. This is Gordon Bean. Yedinekian. Reaching foul on Willard. That is only the 3rd foul against the Rebels.
Number 40, David Willard.
Now coming into the lineup for the first time is Rodney Harris, number 31, a 6'5" junior from Gary, Indiana. He will replace Gordon Bean.
Harris replacing Bean.
Idaho State needs to get Holston in the game offensively, find a way to get the ball to him to where he can score, and also George Davis.
Holston being guarded by fearless Freddie Banks. Kicked it off to Rodney Harris. This is Chatterton. Working on Graham. Yedinekian. Over to Holston. Good move inside on Banks. Shot badly off the mark and rebounded by UNLV. And suddenly now, Idaho State is starting to get into foul difficulty.
Well, they're missing their shots, and every time they miss, UNLV gets the ball, and they just take off for the other end. It's a fast break. Graham really has nothing here but the hope to get to the free throw line for a couple, and that's what he's going to get.
That's the line, number 32, Gary Graham.
And Holston picks up his 2nd foul, reaching from behind, and Gary Graham will be at the line. Both of these teams are about 70% free throw teams. 70.2 for UNLV, 70.5 for Idaho State. Graham now has 4 points. And coming into the lineup for the first time, Richard Robinson, 00, a 6'10", 205-pound junior letterman from Granada Hills, California. And Armin Gilliam sits down.
To me, that's a sign that Jerry Tarkanian's very confident at this point. Armin Gilliam is used to playing a lot of minutes. And for him this early to come out and to put Richard Robinson in, Tark is resting his players. One other point along those lines, we're playing at high altitude here.
Ball finally retrieved by Rodney Harris for the Bengals.
And because of that altitude up here at the University of Utah campus, I think maybe Tark wants to rest his players a little bit in the first half, even more than usual.
For the first time today now, UNLV has doubled the score on Idaho State. It's 24-12 with 10:45 to play. This is Chatterton. Yedinekian. Guarded now by Robinson, who's at 6'10". Holston on Banks. He is shooting badly. Holston had an air ball almost his last time, and this time he did. This time Robinson draws the foul. Holston appears to be a little bit concerned about the defense of Freddie Banks.
Exactly what I was going to say, Frank. It looks like half of his mind when he goes up for the shot is working on his aim, and half of it is, am I going to get this block? Now, here's a guy that's got to start doing some work for him inside, and he is, I think, going to do that a little bit for him. George Davis.
Davis is the only Idaho State player who has more than one basket. He has a couple. 6'6", 210-pound junior from Vallejo, California. So Idaho State has missed both of their free throw opportunities so far in the ball game. They're 0 for 3 at the stripe, but a fine follow shot by Rodney Harris. 6'5" junior out of Gary, Indiana. And it is 24-14. UNLV by 10. Gary Graham, one of the co-captains for UNLV. Under the basket, Yedinekian may have picked up the foul. If he did, it'll be his 3rd. No basket, but the foul is going to be on the 6'8" center. That'll be his third.
That's a tough break, and one that Idaho State did not want to have happen to them. The foul occurred right there, and it correctly called before the shot.
Eldridge Hudson, who will celebrate his 23rd birthday on the 25th of this month. There are 4 players on this UNLV team with birthdays this month, and Jerry Tarkanian just celebrated his 57th birthday 4 days ago. Hudson banked that one in.
Yeah, when you're shooting 28%, I think the backboard's the best way to go.
Jim Botan. Rebounded by George Davis. 25-14. We have exactly 10 minutes to play in the first half. UNLV up by 11.
That's a shot they can't afford to take. Here comes UNLV. 4-on-2 fast break. Yep.
Well, good defense, as getting back was Rodney Harris to thwart the pass under the basket. There is Jerry Tarkanian. Well, we're down to 9 minutes and 50 seconds remaining to play in the first half. UNLV up by 11, 25-14. We'll be back in just a moment.
ESPN Home Video presents Teaching Kids Basketball with John Wooden. In this 75-minute instructional video, UCLA's legendary Coach Wooden shares his unique method of teaching kids the fundamentals of basketball, along with his personal ideas for success in the game.
My definition of success is peace of mind, which can be attained only through self-satisfaction in knowing that you made the effort to do the best that you're capable of doing.
The training begins with demonstrations of the basics of passing, dribbling, shooting, and defense strategy, along with segments on injury prevention, conditioning tips, and drills for coordination. Throughout the training, Coach Wooden stresses the keys to success are individual skills and proper mental attitude.
It's a wonderful sport that they can enjoy and love just to play.
Teaching Kids Basketball with John Wooden can be yours for just $39.95. Order your copy today by calling 1-800-554-9000. Only from ESPN Home Video, the best in quality video cassette.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Dogs. No, actually, Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, ask for Bud Light.
Yours? No.
Because everything else...
Give me a light. Showtime.
...is just a light.
Before we head back to the West Regional, let's get you one more score. This from the Southeast, being played in Birmingham, Alabama. North Carolina A&T, a loser to Alabama. Alabama wins it 88-71, so they advance. Right now, back to the West. UNLV facing Idaho State. Frank Fallon and Lynn Shackelford.
Transportation arrangements provided through Fugazi International Travel, the official travel agency for NCAA championships. All right, we're back to play with UNLV. Freddie Banks going for his 4th three-pointer. Willard with a rebound, and he's fouled inside. So the size of UNLV, the 6'11" sophomore, David Willard. And George Davis picking up the foul, his second. Let's see, we got a score of a couple of other games. Duke has defeated Texas A&M 58-51. Notre Dame defeats Middle Tennessee State 84-72. And in our first game here today in overtime, Kansas State beat Georgia 82-79.
The winner of this game, Las Vegas, Idaho State, will play Kansas State.
David Willard, a big youngster who transferred from Laredo Junior College in Texas. He is originally from San Diego, 6'11", 195. And he has 5 points, and UNLV now has a 13-point lead. That is their biggest. 9:40 to play. Chatterton to Holston to Gordon Bean. Harmon Gilliam getting a long rest here, Lynn.
Again, I think it just points out the confidence that Jerry Tarkanian's got in his bench.
Here goes Hudson. Feeding Graham for the two-pointer.
Hudson is a big guy, plays front line, but loves to handle the ball and can pass pretty well.
15-point lead for UNLV. UNLV has scored over 100 points on several occasions this year. They've been held under 80 points only 6 times in their 34 games.
Don Holston just can't get the ball in the right position and cannot get off the good shot, and that's really going to make it tough for the Bengals to get back in this contest until he warms up.
And right now, Gary Graham, who is the best defensive player on the team, is on him. Chased down nicely in the corner by Hudson. 8.5 minutes to go. 15-point lead for UNLV. Freddie Banks draws the foul on Chatterton.
Foul.
Well, we understand that earlier today, Xavier has beaten Missouri 70-69. That's a bit of a surprise. And now Armin Gilliam is back in the lineup for UNLV. Eldridge Hudson will sit down at the end of the bench. And also Willard has come out. And Robinson back in. Or is it Patio? Gerald Patio back in. Here is Fearless Freddie Banks. Has Fearless written on his license plates. He is the first real product out of the Las Vegas high school system to become a star at UNLV.
He is the only player on the UNLV team who is from the state of Nevada.
Going for his 11th point of the day, and he got it. He has 3 3-pointers and a couple of free throws. 31-14, and it's a 17-point lead. Also back in the lineup now is Mark Wade for UNLV. Rhodey to Holston. Wide open. In for the 2-pointer. 5 points for Don Holston.
Nice little slick move, and you can see he's got some jumping ability, too. He's got to get on track.
It is 31-16. Banks has his 4th 3-pointer of the day. That's the only variety he has. He has 4 of them. And 14 points. He's going to go for his 5th. Holston with a rebound. 34-16.
As you can see, they didn't have the rebounding advantage, but that is their style. Freddie Banks and Graham and Patio, they got the green light to shoot that 3-pointer anytime.
Chatterton just threw it away. The 5'10 freshman from Boise. Jim Botan on the Bengal bench. Gilliam tried to go inside with it. And we get a foul called on Gilliam. His second, number 5 against the Rebels. There he is, the gentle giant, second team Associated Press All-American.
Quick pass by Freddie Banks. Gets it in there. Now Gilliam, he's going to try to work for the shot, and he says, hey, they didn't give me room to turn in there.
6'9", 230-pounder. Native of Pittsburgh.
If you think this is just another UNLV win against a team that doesn't have an impressive record, keep in mind that coming into the NCAA tournament, UNLV is 6-1 against teams which are in the tournament. So they've played a pretty good schedule, and they've handled them all. And the one loss was against Oklahoma, and they beat them earlier in the year.
Don Holston getting his 7th point of the day. One of those early season wins by UNLV was against Temple, the only other team in the tournament with 30 victories. They beat Temple in the preseason NIT.
Okay, now they're starting to make a little bit of a move here, Idaho State, and I say a little bit because they got Holston starting to get in the scoring act. That's a positive sign.
Gordon Bean giving the ball back to Chatterton. Mark Wade is right there on him. Chatterton's pass, save for Holston. 3-pointer. Rebounded by Gilliam. Freddie Banks can't get it. And finally, it's rebounded by Rodney Harris, 6'5" junior for Idaho State. 34-18. Rebels in front. This is Chatterton. Jim Rhodey back in the ballgame now. Gordon Bean. Freddie Banks on yet another turnover against Idaho State. Met with Fast Night. Jarvis Fast Night missing the layup. Now we got a couple of subs. Rodney Purvis, number 23. Coming into the lineup along with George Davis as you look again at Tark the Shark. and Jim Botan. Gary Graham back in for the Rebels. UNLV won 33 games last year to set a school record. They have tied that already this year. So a victory here today would set another new school record with their 34th win of the year. And they lead it 34-18.
Yeah, they play so many games. A lot of teams measure a successful season by 20 wins. UNLV measures it by 30 wins.
This is George Davis working on Gilliam. Chatterton being guarded by Wade. Brody from the corner, air ball. Pulled down and then blocked. Purvis put it up and had it blocked. Let's look at that block again.
Just this is what you call a quick swat. Armin Gilliam says, no, don't shoot that.
For Gilliam, that is his 31st block of the year. Holston goes out, and making his first appearance now is Darren Alleman, number 42, a 6'8½", 220-pound freshman from Laramie, Wyoming. He's being guarded by Armin Gilliam. On the run come the Rebels. They've got 3-on-3. And Graham is fouled by Rohde. Jim Rohde picks up the foul. That is his second.
That almost looked like it was intentional. He was afraid of the fast break, and he says, I'm just going to foul him out there. I don't want him to get a basket. Let him go to the free throw line, get him early. And he just reached out there and blocked him.
That is 14 fouls that Idaho State has been guilty of here in the first half. The Bengals came in 15-15 on the year. They were 5-9 in the Big Sky Conference. Went in as the number 7 seed and won 3 decisive victories to represent the conference in the NCAA playoffs. Graham's free throw is his 7th point of the day. Defensive specialist. Played in Baltimore, Maryland for Bob Wade, now the head coach at Maryland. Reggie Williams of Georgetown was a high school teammate of Gary's. 36-18, and again they've doubled it. It's an 18-point lead, biggest of the day for UNLV. Alleman lost it, and Wade picks it up. Graham. Another assist for Mark Wade as Gary Graham gets the basket.
And that's why they call him the running rebel. See this pressure they put on defensively. Backcourt, even in the set offense, when the other team's running their offense, just causes turnovers, and they're away and running. Whoa!
We almost wound up with Patio in our lap. Well, if you think UNLV is on a record pace for a half, they're not. They scored 68 against Ohio in the first half. Right now, we've got a timeout with 4:55 remaining. It's 38-18, UNLV over Idaho State. Has a 20-point advantage over Idaho State with 4:55 remaining in the first half by a score of 38-18.
Here's why they call them the running rebels. They get the ball and they just go. That is one thing they have on their mind. Go right to the hoop. That is always the way it has been with Jerry Tarkanian. That's why the players like to come and play for him, because they know they're going to play a running game.
UNLV flagged only 5 times. Idaho State 14 times here in the first half. Trying to keep up with the pressure of the pace set by the Rebels. The winner of this game will play Kansas State. Kansas State, an overtime winner over Georgia, 82-79 in the first game. This is George Davis working against Armin Gilliam. Chatterton, who is not a starter, but has come in and played more than any other guard so far for Idaho State. Chatterton, a little 5'10" freshman from Boise, the trigger man. Jim Botan looking at his players on the floor. Here's Holston getting it inside to Rohde. Nice pass from Don Holston to Jim Rohde. Rohde's first basket of the day. 38-20. And I believe that Gilliam was fouled. That'll be the 15th foul on Idaho State. This one's called on Holston, his 3rd. So Holston and Yetanekian, who is on the bench, each have 3 fouls for Idaho State. Their number 1 and number 2 scorers. David Willard back in the ball game, number 40, the 6'11" sophomore. as Jarvis Bassnight will sit down.
A lot of seniors on this UNLV team, but as you can see, some of the players that are on the bench will be playing next year. And as usual, Jerry Tarkanian's got a host of red shirts just waiting to become eligible and perform at the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas in front of their crowd of 18,000 plus that they get. Always a long and strong bench that Jerry Tarkanian has. And he's got a lot of assistants who do a lot of hard work, too. He lets them coach a lot.
Gilliam gets both free throws. He now has 8 points, and the Rebels have 40-20. Holston. Davis. Willard gave him the baseline, and Davis took it but couldn't get the bucket. Davis does a great job of trying to keep it alive, but Gilliam at 6'9", 3 inches taller, grabs the rebound. Willard losing it inside. And Idaho State turning it over at the other end. Well, the pace has certainly caught up with Idaho State. Then they've gotten caught up in UNLV's running game.
Yeah, I think one of the worst things that happened to Idaho State was early in the game when they hit 2 3-point shots in a row and said, hey, we're going to play with these guys. And you just don't do it that way. You don't play at their tempo, especially if you're Idaho State.
It appeared as though Graham was tripped as he went to the hoop.
One thing very impressive also about UNLV is they have a killer instinct. They keep that pressure on. Once they get a 20-point lead, they don't let up on defense. Jerry Tarkanian will not let them.
Graham guarded by Rhodey. Whistle away from the ball. Apparently on Graham. There's a 3-second violation. You know, that's only the second time that I have seen that called all this year, Lynn.
It is a call that you don't see very much anymore, and that's good. Maybe the 3-point line has opened up the game and spread it out so that players are not camping in the key as often.
Foul is on Markway. His first, number 6, against the Rebels. Jerry Tarkanian.
Tark says no fouls. Well, yeah, when you got 16 fouls, you don't want to foul anymore because the next one sends you to the free throw line.
Back in the ballgame now is Troy Miles, number 12, the starting point guard. Jim Rhodey. Holston. Being guarded by Patio. It's 40-20. UNLV. Rhodey can't get it, and Mark Wade snatches it, and he traveled. 3 minutes to play in the half. UNLV leads it 40-20.
Little Mark Wade set an NCAA record for assists in one season this year. And as you can see, little Mark Wade handles the ball a lot, but in turnovers, he only averages about 2 a game, which is remarkable for a guy who handles the ball as often as he does. So that last turnover is a rare occurrence.
Eldridge Hudson, number 33, back in the lineup for the Rebels. We have a 20-point advantage. This is Darren Alderman. Punched back out, and Wade comes out of there with it. Left with the shot high in the air. Wade gets his first basket of the day. It's 42-20. Rhodey from three-point land. That is the third three-pointer for Idaho State, the first for Jim Rhodey. But the lead is so pronounced that a three-pointer doesn't change it appreciably. Turnover against UNLV. Freddie Banks. He does look a little bit like Webster. I think his teammates call him that. Two minutes, 10 seconds to play in the half. Mark Wade gets it right back. Off his foot, out of bounds. Well, Mark not showing any real ill effects of that knee injury, Len, that made him miss the championship game.
Yeah, he's got his average for a game now. 2 turnovers here. That one he just tried to put on a slick move and it went off his foot.
Rhodey intimidated by Gilliam. Here's Holston. Holston now has 9 points. He averages 18.8 per ball game. 42-25. Hudson shooting and missing. And Holston trying to come out of there. This foul by Banks. Freddie Banks picks up his first foul, and that will send Idaho State to the line to shoot 1-1. You know, Freddie Banks has played in 140 consecutive games, including today's game, and the NCAA record is 143, held by Patrick Ewing from 1982 to 1985 at Georgetown. So if UNLV continues to advance, Freddie Banks will set a new NCAA record for consecutive games. He's only 3 away from that right now. Holston missing, and Willard grabbing the rebound. It is still 42-25. Gilliam's shot won't go, and Willard lost it out of bounds.
We'll do an interview out here after.
Willard, a 6'11 sophomore, number 40. Ball will belong to the Bengals of Idaho State.
Not yet.
Don Holston will be the trigger man.
I'm on the same line as Cody. I told him, I know. Gotta be careful.
Davis, nice move inside by George Davis. He's got 6.
Looking ahead to the second half, Holston's untracked if he can stay out of foul trouble, and if Davis can keep asserting himself. Davis is not intimidated at all by UNLV. Maybe that would be the one chance they'd have of making a run.
1 minute to play in the half. 42-27. UNLV. Gilliam squared up nicely and made the bucket. Gilliam gets his 3rd basket of the day. He has 10 points. Really squared up nicely to shoot that one. It is 44-27. Holston to Alleman. Troy Miles shooting and missing. Rhodey with a rebound, and Davis can't save it. 30 seconds to play in the half.
Tark wants one shot.
Jerry Tarkanian now in his 14th season as the head man at UNLV. His team leading 44-27. At halftime, a visit with Jim Lessig, the commissioner of the Mid-American Conference. Armin Gilliam. That is his 12th point of the first half. So the end of the first half finds the #1 team in the country, UNLV, leading Idaho State 46-27.
UNLV with a huge lead at halftime. They are leading Idaho State, which brings to mind Idaho State 15-15 coming into this game, which means they were 12-15 before they won their conference tournament. Should a 12-15 team have a chance to be in the NCAA tournament?
John, don't get me started on that, because I tried last night and I was on with the entrepreneur, Mr. Valvano, and he started to give me a speech about the American way, the dream. He said, look at you, you come from high school to national television. Forget about the American dream. The bottom line, I love the American dream, but the American dream says lace them up and do it for the entire season. 3 months you reward a team. You give them the automatic berth for winning the league, not a team that gets hot for 3 days like Idaho State. I say they don't belong in the tournament. I say you have a postseason tournament like they did in that conference in the Big Sky. Give them the big gold trophy. Give them the wristwatch. Shake their hand and say, lots of pride, fellas. You won, but you still don't go to the big dance.
Okay, there are those who will argue, though, that the fact they are in here, they're being punished enough by having to face UNLV, as you can see in this game. Coming up at halftime, we'll have scores and highlights from other conferences, and we'll talk to New Orleans coach Benny Dees, his victory today as he tries to take his team down to the Final Four. All coming up at halftime, so stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment. UNLV with a huge 46-27 lead over Idaho State. We'll be right back.
So something special on the horizon. American Airlines Super Sale. Incredible low fares to cities throughout the continental United States with prices from just $29 to $109 each way. Just make your reservations 2 days in advance. Tickets are non-refundable. But hurry, fares this low won't last forever.
We're American Airlines, something special.